All right. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for coming on this show. I appreciate it. I see a dog. Is that your dog?
Yes, that's my dog. He always likes to join the Zoom meetings and Skype meetings.
Oh, all right. Well, that's cool. Mine are outside. I kick them out of the studio when I do video, but they sit in here when I'm doing audio podcasts. So,
Oh, well, it's minus, I don't know, 8 here or something. So he doesn't like it outside. He's a rescue from California. He doesn't like the cold weather out here.
oh, okay. Oh, I guess I didn't mean outside, outside. They're indoors. They're just out of the studio.
Oh, I see.
They're
Yes.
they're in the
Okay.
hallway.
Oh,
So yeah, well, it's not that cold here, but no, I wouldn't put them outside. Um, okay, so what are we talking about? You got a book called Smile Again,
right?
and what exactly do you do? You're an author, philanthropist, TED
Mother, TED
mother.
talker,
Okay,
a TED coach, and last year I was a TED Judge too, so that was very interesting, lots of fun.
let's talk a little bit about TED because I've had several other guests on who have been TED speakers. Um, First of all, what does TED stand for?
Entertainment, education, technical design. So basically anything I think that can entertain and enlighten us.
Okay, so TED is basically a company that you can, I don't know, explain the process. How do you get signed up with them? Who decides who's going to have speaking tours, or how does the whole thing work?
Well, you apply. So when TEDx comes to your city, there's usually an organization of people that put out information about it, and there's always a theme as to what you can apply to talk about. So whether it might be like the year I did it was future shapers. So your talk needs to be relevant to the theme of what they want to talk about that year. So it changes every year, and that's what makes it so interesting. Is because all over the world, in different countries, there's all these different themes and platforms for people to speak about what they are passionate about and what they're an expert about.
Do they pay you, or do you have to pay them?
It depends. Some TED Talks you get paid, but I don't believe any that I'm familiar with that you have to pay to be on. I know I didn't get paid for it, but for me it was good publicity for my public speaking that I do.
I see. So they have a live audience for this, I would assume.
Yes, yeah. There's a live audience, and then it gets taped, and it goes on to their channel, their TED channel, and YouTube. So you can like Google Kim Gemmell TED Talks, and I'll pop up there.
Okay. So obviously, COVID has put a damper on the live ones, I would assume. Yeah.
Yes. So we decided what we were going to do for 2020 was just postpone it. So they had an option. The speakers had an option. They could vote on either doing it virtual or waiting till we could do it in a stadium. And they chose to push it forward to wait till we can all do it together.
So what do you talk about then when you're there?
Well, I talk about different things. That particular year, we talked about it. The theme was future shaping. So I talked about the value of human connections unplugged. Basically, it was about how we may be more plugged in, but we're more disconnected with our relationships. So that it's just finding that balance of social media and technology and still maintaining those personal relationships because they're so crucial for social development.
You're talking about significant other type relationships?
Yeah, like mentors. Like I talk a lot about my mentors and how I was able to go through um, very great trials and tribulations, great adversity through my life, and how I was able to uh, get through it through the strength that I got from my mentors.
I'm of the opinion that the internet has kind of, I don't want to say ruined, but I will say damaged the ability for people to have real interpersonal relationships because it's so much easier to go online and be your icon and be your emoji rather than be an actual real person? What do you think about that?
I do. I agree with you because it's not that personal connection. It's different when you're divided by a screen. I mean, I do say though that in the times of COVID, I'm so grateful for the ability to be able to connect through technology. So that has come in very handy for, of course, like us, or meetings, Zoom meetings. People are able to connect that way. But I just think that, perhaps some good things can come from COVID in the fact that once we can connect again, we will want to be more personal. We want to be together more than using our devices.
I would agree, and actually, that might be the silver lining of the cloud because once we get through this, people are going to be desperate for real human contact.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and that's why I wrote my book, Smile Again, and I actually talk about some of the good things that can come from COVID. And finding the silver linings is the theme of Smile Again, really.
Oh, well, that's a good segue. All right. So tell us a little bit about the book then. Give us a synopsis.
Okay, well, I wrote my first book, Bravery, Our Journey of Faith, Hope, and Love, 8 years ago now. And it was about our family's journey after my son was born with a critical heart defect and not expected to live. He went through many months of being in the hospital, in ICU, many heart surgeries, and he endured cold blue, respiratory arrest, renal failure, you name it. My husband and I were staying actually in the parking lot of the hospital. They've got hookups for out-of-town parents, and we were staying there, and we get calls in the middle of the night to say, better come in, and we don't know if Adrian's going to make it till morning. And it was just really, really trying times. And in the middle of it all, my dad, who my mom and dad were watching our 3-year-old daughter Jessie, died at home one day of a heart attack in the middle of it all, right after Avery's first surgery. And then our little daughter Jessie, who's 3, got diagnosed with autism. So this perfect little life that I had with the white picket fence got blown away. I felt like a tornado had picked me up and landed me on another planet. Because I thought I was the biggest wimp. Up until then, I had this like your rose-colored glasses kind of life. So I remember thinking, how am I going to deal with this? Like I'm the biggest wimp. But then, a morsel of strength wiggled its way in, and all the life lessons that I learned from my mentors, from my grandma, from my parents, kicked in. And I thought, if Avery can stay here and fight, I've got to too. And we did. And many months later, we were able to bring Avery home with his heart all patched up. And I remember thinking, I remember when the surgeon said, well, Kim, you're ready to go home. Avery's heart's all patched up. I can't guarantee you what kind of shape he's going to be in, but we fixed his heart. And I because of all the cold blues and respiratory arrests that he'd gone through, like he was compromised. And I remember thinking, I didn't care what kind of shape he was in. I just wanted to bring him home. And I was so happy because, spending that many months in the hospital, we met a lot of parents that didn't get to take their babies home. ICU stay is usually 2 to 3 days, not almost 5 months. So I felt blessed, and I was just, that experience became a purpose. And I remember people saying to me, you've been through so much, and you're always so happy and positive, and yet you're going through all this stuff. And I looked at them kind of odd because I knew why I was so happy that both my children are healthy and happy, and at the end of the day, it doesn't get any better than that. And I had made a promise that if I could bring Avery home, I would be the happiest mom in the world. And now, 23 years later, I still am the happiest mom in the world. But it made me think, I've got to write a book. I've got to show people how life can be wonderful, even if it doesn't go as we expected or planned. But then I thought, I can't write a book. I'm not smart enough. My English professor in university thought I was basically a waste of desk space. And, and I like to talk about that too, because when we're young, we're very impressionable, and we're supposed to believe what the professionals say. We're, more insecure and naive. And so I remember thinking that I'm not smart enough to write a book. But the notion to keep writing it just never went away. And I thought, I guess I got to write this book. But I don't know anything about writing a book, but I just sat down in front of my computer, and it's kind of like that movie, Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So I just started typing and wrote Bravery. So, and I wrote it kind of in the present tense. So it's our journey, because I had journaled the whole experience. So the reader feels like they're right alongside us, riding this journey of this turbulent roller coaster ride that we went through for so many months. And it was very cathartic, because it kind of gave that experience of purpose to help others. And it was received really well, because being a new and unknown author, basically the only people that buy books are from authors that are famous or politicians. It's hard for a new unknown author to get heard in the world. But Bravery did pretty good, and it was it was meant to be, and I'm glad that it happened the way it did, because even though it wasn't a bestseller or anything, it sure reached a lot of people, and I got hundreds, if not thousands, of emails and messages from people who said that it helped put life in perspective for them and made them hug their kids a little bit tighter at night. So that was my first book. Now, 8 years later, pandemic hit, and I thought, I can't work, because I work part-time as a medical aesthetic consultant, and I can't do my public speaking and all of my other work that I do with the Hospice Society and Heart and Stroke Foundation. So I thought, okay, this is a perfect time to write Smile Again. And I always knew the title was going to be Smile Again, because I blogged, and I blog a lot about just finding the silver linings, finding gratitude in dark days, and just giving people hope to see brighter days after the storm. And so they're all very positive, enlightening blogs that I did. So I pulled a lot of those from my resources to put together in the book Smile Again, as well as I use examples of my mentors, of people who have risen above great adversity and done amazing things. A friend of mine, Daniel Keplinger, he had a documentary that won an Oscar, because he's very severe cerebral palsy with no motor control of his limbs. But he straps a paintbrush to his forehead and paints these magnificent art. So I talk about things like that, which I think it helps people see that, anything can be done if we have the open mind to do it, and the desire to do it. So with that and a little bit of persistence, we can reach our goals, and we can do things we want to do. So a lot of giving people hope that kind of shelve their ideas of what they want to do.
So how old is your son now?
He's 23.
Oh, so things worked. And when he had all that surgery, he was just an infant?
Yeah, he had his first surgery the first day he was born. They whisked him away from me and took him to Children's Hospital before I even got a chance to hold him.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm happy that turned out well.
And my daughter is doing amazing too. She's 26. Today's her birthday. She's 26 today, and she is just the happiest ray of sunshine. She's, I would say, in the moderate autistic spectrum, but quite high functioning. She works, she volunteers, she delivers Meals on Wheels to the seniors, and works at the Salvation Army. So her life is all about giving back, and she just loves doing that kind of stuff. And yeah, she's just really a breath of fresh air. So it's it's great to be able to say both children are doing amazing. Adri actually graduated with honors, and he even won the Nelson Mandela Hardest Working Student Award. And now he's in university, 2 years from getting his degree.
That's super. Do you have a website? We have to wrap this up. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
Sure, it's kimgemmell.com.
Can you spell that out?
Sure, it's Kim, K-I-M, and then Gemmell, Gemmell.com. And books can be purchased through my website, as well as just learning a little bit more about us and what we do.
Great. Thanks so much for coming on the show and sharing your story. It was very enlightening and heartfelt.